If you are just tuning in for the first time, I am Deborah, the owner of the Tipsy Candle. Today we're going to be making our large 25-ounce candle vessel for a custom order. So I got this mold particularly from Modern Craft Lab. And if you are tuning in and you're having an issue hearing me, it's because I have my respirator mask on, which should always be a must when working with concrete. So we're starting out with some Simmental, my mixing bowl, the mold, of course, and the color that we'll be using for today's video. This is the Burnt Umber from Direct Colors. And then, of course, water. So, I like these little wooden measuring scoops. And because this is a large vessel, it is quite tedious to color. Please, I know you want to know the measurements, but I can't give you my measurements. A lot of it you'll have to just do with trial and error. I like to mix the color in really good prior to adding the cement. I just feel like it gives it a more smooth finish and looks a little bit better. Plus, I don't get as much watermarks. Cement is very messy, so if you have the room, I would definitely recommend these tables. I'll put the link in the description box for you. I have 3 of these tables. This is one of my smaller ones, and in another video you can see another size that I have in these tables that I use for pouring my vessels on. So, also, I just use a regular mixer, Hamilton and Beach mixer. Obviously, it's dedicated solely for the purpose of making concrete vessels. So, drop me a comment if there is a vessel or a particular color that you would like to see us make, and we will do our best to make that happen. All right, so just on the low setting. Obviously, it's way too liquidy right now, but keep watching. We will get to the consistency that I recommend. Of course, I recommend it based on my geographical location. this is more towards the consistency that I like. However, there's still some chunks at the bottom that have to be kind of worked out. So I'm going to add a little bit more water and give it another. All right. And then what I like to do is I like to hand stir it. Number one, just to get any clumps that are at the bottom that may need a little more working. But also, I like to be able to actually feel the consistency of where I'm at. Now, I'm not sure if this is going to be enough to fill in one pass, so we'll just go with it. And we'll see as we get closer to filling. I just like to pour in. And because of this size, I'm not going to use my vibrator table just yet. I want to tap it down, give it a few really good taps. Actually, I changed my mind. I am going to use the vibrating table. Let's hope that it doesn't vibrate my camera right off the edge. It just helps to get the air bubbles out. Usually it needs a lot more mixture than this, so I'm going to be curious to see how this turns out, because like I said, I know my vessels and I know how they respond. And this is just a little bit of a mess today. Let's see. We're going to scoop out some. I do sand my vessels by hand, so don't worry, it will be nice and smooth at the end, but you don't want to have to sand a lot. Give it a couple more taps to ensure that you don't have any open spaces. And then I'm going to take the shell, bring it over to the drying station where it will sit for the next several hours hardening. I'm going to add a little bit more to that. Next, we're going to do the lid. Do the same thing with the lid. And with the lid, I do actually prefer to vibrate some of these air bubbles out. set this down as well. And because I have enough left over, I'm going to make a baby vessel. These are my 2-ounce silicone vessel. And these also go in a little shell. Lastly, the lid. Don't worry, there will be no concrete harmed or wasted in this video. We are going to pour a little bit more water. Into that mixture. I love these silicone bowls to use for mixing concrete. It has made concrete art more enjoyable and a lot more sustainable than using those red cups. However, I do sometimes still occasionally use the red cups if I'm making a custom candle vessel for a customer or for my own purposes. So there's always ways to reduce your carbon footprint, I think that's called. I'm going to add a little bit more water just so that I can add a little bit more cement just so that I can make this one last vessel. Alright, so basically for that one 25-ounce vessel, I have used about 20 ounces of the dry Cemental. My formula is about 4-to-1. I'm adding a little bit more orange because I'm going to use this for our pumpkin vessel. Just a smidge more water. Sometimes I will add the water directly to it, but I don't want to have to keep making vessels right now, so just pour it into the cup. And then I use a Doppler. Let's see if I have enough for our pumpkin mold. This mold also actually holds quite a bit of cement, and this takes roughly 8 ounces of dry concrete or dry cementol, just for the vessel alone, not including the lid. So I have to make another small little batch. One tool that I really like and have found helpful is just this little frosting thing. And then I can scrape away and get all of that good cement. Use my mixer for this. Obviously, cement dries fast. give this a quick zip on here. Set this to the side. And then the lid. And there you go. Again, we'll come back in a couple hours and see how these have dried. Stay tuned. Okay, so welcome back. So now we are going to demold our large vessel that we made the other day, as well as the pumpkin that we made the other day. So bear with me because it does take me some time to kind of get this vessel out. It's very large, and these old hands are a little rusty, and it looks like, let's see if I can get a better shot here. So it looks like I did not fill it enough, or my table was a little wonky or crooked, but you know, it's concrete, I'm human. So let's move you up and down. All right, like I said, it takes a minute for me to get these out. Plus, I actually let it sit for 2 days instead of the 1 day, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult to unmold. First, I just start by going all the way around, and as you can see, it easily breaks off the top. But don't worry, we will get to sanding it. The hard part is not pulling the lip down. The hard part is actually twisting and turning it to actually get it out from its death grip. I've had people reach out and say that they actually go around the outside and kind of loosen it up, but whichever works for you is the easiest. Here's the problem. So you have to kind of create a suction between the silicone and the actual concrete mold. So, and then I just kind of go around as many times. I actually don't make these anymore on the regular, but because this is for a special customer, I agreed to make it. But and then I have one more of these large one to make, and then after that I will not be making these large 25-ounce vessels anymore for customers, because they are just a lot of work, and I've actually gotten hurt a couple times trying to take these out of the mold. And then my finger gets stuck in. Might have spoke too soon. Lowered. All right. Whew, finally. That was only difficult. So, as you can see, we have a nice vessel here in the clay. The bottom is not as bad as I had thought, but like I said, I'll be sanding this. The pumpkin vessels are not as difficult to get out. They still take some finesse, but they're a lot easier to demold. And so the pumpkin vessel that I made in this video, it's because I actually had a little bit of the concrete mixture left over in the same exact color. So I like this little pumpkin. It actually came out pretty good. I love this vessel. You can also find this. I'll put the link in the comments section or description. And then let's take this lid off, or the lid of the mold. And there you have the top of the pumpkin. This one got a little bit wonky because I was kind of in a hurry, but they do fit very nicely on it. All right, so now let's take the lid out and see what we have for the lid. And again, the lid is kind of easy to get out. You just kind of go around with your finger, kind of loosening it up. And then it just pops right out. And then again, I'll be sanding it by hand. And then it fits nicely on our vessel. So since we actually, let's see, we have one more to demold, and that is our mini, because we had a little left over still. These are also by Modern Craft Lab. It's the same concept. I just go around the outer, loosen it up first, kind of get those concrete pieces off, and then just roll down. Sometimes it's a little tricky with the little ones, but it's because they're a little bit easier to demold. I don't mind as much. But the same thing applies, just kind of get a little air pocket underneath and pops right out. And I already have actually a lid in that color that I have made, so I don't need to create another one. So there you have it. You have several different molds, or several different vessels, and the large is 25 ounces. You can get it, you know, like I said, I love making concrete vessels for my candles. I like to use the best quality products, and so I want to be sure that my customers are getting a good quality product for the Tipsy candle, and this is my passion. So if you like what you see, please comment. Please leave me, you know, your thoughts. Do you like the 25 ounce? Do you prefer the 2 ounce cutie pie or the pumpkin the best? Which one do you prefer? I'm Deborah, the Harmony Coach, CEO and founder of the Tipsy Candle.